Uh-oh. Problems are coming.
Hello.
All right, there we are.
Hello.
I'm here.
We're right here.
What up, though? What up, though?
Welcome.
Blasian Soul Podcast once again every Wednesday. Come to kick it to you.
Live, Mr. Marcelo Robertson.
I like that.
What?
Yeah, I like that.
Miss Nippapon.
Mrs.
Nippapon. That's right. We're going on 14 years.
Yes, actually.
Marriage, this anniversary this weekend, guys.
Yeah, our anniversary is coming
14 years.
14 years married, about almost 17 years together.
Dang.
That's a long time.
That is such a long time.
Lord help me.
Wow.
Pray.
What was your best part of the 17 years?
Oh, I'm not about to. I'm not. All of it. Y'all hear me?
All of it.
That was a good one, right?
Dang.
All of it. Every last second.
Dang.
From the good times and the bad times. It all makes it possible.
The good times, got to have the good with the bad, right?
No doubt. If you don't have the bad, you don't know how good the good truly
is. Definitely.
We are here today. We're going to touch a few different topics, but initially, let's go with our guest speaker today. So we have went through business professionals. We went through students that we've helped support. We went through book launches for some of our esteemed friends. So I would be remiss if I didn't have as my guest Miss Nippapon Robertson, because her book will be coming out in May.
Yes.
So I get to sting her with the hardest questions and get at her as I would any of our guest speakers.
If you guys are watching live, please bail me out. If I get any hard questions, please bail me out.
But yes, my wife is coming out with a book about her refugee story. About what she went through coming here and trying to be successful and prosperous with all of the difficulties that she has dealt with. So the book launch is scheduled for May. But how can we come out with a book and support all of the other role models and community leaders without giving the same opportunity to us? So without further ado, let me introduce our guest speaker for
Thank you. Thank you so much. And like my husband said, I am coming out with a book. It is called $40 and a Dream, Breaking Through the Bamboo Ceiling. You like that?
I like that?
And you know, the crazy thing with the book is my husband was the one who actually encouraged me to write the book, because he had a project. It was 2011, guys. It was 10 years ago. I didn't think about writing the book at that time, but my husband had to do a book report about someone from out of the country. And he came and asked me if he could interview me for his book report. And I said, well, yeah, but I don't really know what to tell you, because I don't really know a whole lot about my history. And that just opened a whole new can of worm. So I pick up the phone and I call my dad. I said, Dad, I need, in Laos, of course, you know, in Laos, of course. I said, Dad, Ipa, you know, that I needed to know about a little bit about our history. And he got pretty quiet on the phone, and he didn't say much. And he's like, well, what do you want me to tell you? You know, and I didn't know how deep the story was and why he gave me that response until I really, really started digging into my past and my history and our family history, our Lao history. And so he gave me this phone number and said, well, here's the phone number. Call this number. And I wrote the number down and I said, who am I supposed to call? He said, call this lady named Jane. She's one of the sponsors. She will know a little bit more and what to tell you. And so I picked up the phone. I called the other person. Her name is Jane. And Jane picked up the phone, and Jane I said, hello, Jane? I said, this is Nippapon, because she probably only knew me as Nippapon. I didn't get the name Laura till like 3rd grade when I became an American citizen. So my husband doesn't even call me Laura.
Oh.
So my birth name is Nippapon. And so Jane said, Nippapon, oh my goodness, it's so great to hear from you. I haven't, she hasn't seen me since I was really little. And here I am in my 30s at that time. And she's like, well, you know what? I have something in the attic that I would like to go up and dig for you. Give me your address. And a week later, I got this entire package of information delivered to my house. And it was almost like I was reading about someone else from, a movie or something. Jane was such an angel. She sent me every single original document from when we first came to America. I mean, you guys, anywhere from our refugee paperwork, our documentation, newspaper clippings. I mean, it was just, I was bawling my eyes out just reading through all of this information. And I was just sitting there like, oh my goodness, this is just crazy, because my parents have always told me we're refugees, we're immigrant, we immigrated here, whatever. And so I never knew exactly the backstory. And I'm sure a lot of Lao, my age feel the same way. And so because our parents, it was such a hard time that they don't really want to bring it up, because it brings up all of those mixed emotions. And so just to give you a little backstory, if you guys don't know what Laos is, it's in Southeast Asia. It is a small country in between North and South Vietnam. And during the Vietnam War, there was what's called the Ho Chi Minh Trail. And the Ho Chi Minh Trail was used for Americans to place their outposts, and it happens to be in Laos. And so during that time, the CIA waged a secret war on our country. And they bombed us. They bombed Laos. If you look up the secret war, you'll see all sorts of stuff now coming out about it, as even the Lao Redemption movie also talks about it too. But they bombed us for 9 years continuously. Like, these bombs are still exploding over there, right? And so I discovered all of this during that time 10 years ago, and it just really blew my mind that I was born homeless. That's what I found out. I mean, I knew we were poor. They've always said we were so poor. We were so poor. Anything that moved was our food, but I didn't know to the extent of it. I didn't know the full story of our history coming from Laos and being a Lao refugee. And so what happened was, at the end of the Vietnam War, the American troops pulled out, and the communists invaded Laos, and they started capturing anyone that they thought worked for the government of Laos. So the supporters. Yeah, like my dad was a teacher. He was, the supporter of the Royal Lao government. And so the new government that the communists that came and took over, they rounded up everyone, and they put them into, they called it the seminar. They called it the re-education camp. And these were torturing camps. And these were camps where they took my uncles and my dad and anyone they can get their hands on. They put them in these prison places and to re-educate them on the new government. And my dad was one of them. And in my book, I actually share that story of my father's being held in captivity and all of that. And then I share my story of us, living in the refugee camp and then coming to America, and people flip out. Like, they kind of have like a really like shocking look when I tell them I don't have a birth certificate because I was born homeless. Like, I didn't have a country, like, because we were in transition and I was just born and I don't have a birth certificate. They're like, what do you use for your birth certificate? How do you get into school and things like that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just here, you know? And so we came here with just $40 and a dream, which is the title of my book. We had nothing except for our shoes, shorts, and a tank top that we came from the refugee camps with. 1979, in the middle of a snowstorm. That is all we had in our possession, you know. And so, when I think of that, you know, I think of my hope is for my book to be able to inspire those who are during COVID times had lost everything or had gotten evicted, or, you know, whatever circumstances landed you to lose everything or not be in a position where you want to be. We didn't have anything at all. And so just to give you hope that, you know, you too can, you know, it'll all work out in the end, right? And so
it also positions the story.
Mhm.
A lot of people think that, oh, when you come over here and you're an immigrant, the government takes care of you, gives you a ton
Yes.
of money, and you can do whatever you want to do, and you got a leg up more than other people got a leg up. So this book positions the story to show exactly the trials and tribulations
Absolutely.
that refugees had to go through at that
Mhm.
time
Yes.
to get here and to try to make it.
Absolutely. And, like Marcelo said, I've been told by, you know, a lot of people like, oh, you were raised with a silver spoon. And, you know, for some reason, I don't know if it's because they watch Crazy Rich Asian or whatever, they think that we were just made, like, born into money. For some, that might be true. However, there's a huge amount of us, huge, especially Southeast Asians like myself, Vietnamese, Cambodia, and Laos, in that area, who came from those countries. We had to struggle. Like, we were placed in the hood. That's why you see a lot of our Southeast Asians, like, they really take on to hip hop and things like that, because we were like in a diverse neighborhood, because we were super poor, just like all the other minorities, you know, and so that's who we grew up with. And, I've been told, oh, you were raised with a silver spoon. You probably don't know what poor is. And I'm like, we were so poor, we didn't have spoons, you know? We just were given a little tiny area in the refugee camp, which was like a makeshift tent that thousands of people were housed in. And we were all just waiting to get saved out of there. And in order to get out of those homeless shelters and the refugee camps, you had to wait your turn, and you had to just pray that a family somewhere around the world sees your profile and say, yes, I want to sponsor that family, because that's the only way out. That's the only way you're going to get out of there. And I think because my family was so large, we had a family of 5. It took us 2 years. And it took us 2 years before we were finally sponsored. And Jane, the one that my father had me call, she was one of the 6 sponsors in the church, the First Presbyterian Church. They raised like $5,000 to sponsor a family, and to pay for the plane tickets, to get us into housing and things like that. So we were the fortunate one. We were the blessed one that were sponsored by the church, and they actually picked us specifically because they went through hundreds of profile. Remember Jane telling me this when I was connected back with her. She said that our family was picked out specifically because of the simple fact of, the children were young. They felt like they can adapt into the church easier. My father was a teacher. He spoke a little bit of French. And so they thought maybe they can get a French translator. And, in my mother, with the small children and stuff. So in my book, I share like all of the things that we went through, and all of the the funny stories and just the innocent stories, you know, that we went through. And I remember as a child, as a refugee child living in America, in a foreign country, for example. So I don't know if anyone is watching that lives in Elgin, right? We grew up right on South Chapel Street, which is across the street from the old Elgin High School. It was that White House, and there was 4 units. We had all of the family members all live in the same block, so it was really, really nice because all of us refugee kids, like we all lived together around the same block. And there is a Mexican store right literally like next door to my house, and we would get chased out of there all the time, and me and my cousins, and we didn't know why. And so we were little, I was like 2, 3 at the time. You could see pictures of me barefooted, little like poor kids, barefooted with hand-me-downs. I didn't know why they would chase us out of the store all the time. Well, apparently, you know, I guess we were stealing, and we didn't know we were stealing. And every single time we went in there, we would just grab the candies because we saw candy right in the front. We'd go in, we'd grab the candy. We didn't know English. We didn't know English. So we just grabbed the candy and we would just run. We would just run out. You know, we would go to neighbors' yards. We would climb trees because we loved crab apples. You know, we would climb trees and get into the apples. We used to get chased by this man, older man, and he would just throw his shoes at it. He would come chasing us, but we climbed his fence. We would get the crab apples, you know, and we were poor. We were running around, you know, filthy, dirty, you know, and just the innocence of it all, you know, and just trying to survive. And we lived in a 2-bedroom, cockroach infested. It was one of those things, don't turn the light on or they'll come crawling out or whatever, you know. And so we actually, you know, it was a family of 5, but then at some points of our life, at some points of our childhood, we had different people coming to live with us. At some point we had 14 people living with us because my dad, has such a huge heart that, you know, anytime somebody puts his name down as like, oh, you know, to get sponsored or somebody that they can come live with, he opened the doors to any strangers, and they would come and stay with us in transition. And we, you know, and we didn't think anything of it. I had an amazing childhood, and I didn't know we were so poor. I just thought that it was normal. I mean, so poor that we never got Christmas gifts. Our Christmas gifts was walking down to the YWCA and waiting in line for Santa Claus. Like that was our Christmas. But it was overall, like our childhood was so amazing. We didn't know what poor was. My parents didn't, I mean, they told us we were poor, but we just didn't know what it was. And so it was just the innocence of being a child growing up in that environment. We had an amazing time. So it was pretty awesome until I entered elementary school, right? And so first I had to go to bilingual school. I had to learn English, right? And oh my goodness, my last name, I mean, my first and last name is Nipapan Sanavongse. So if you guys can imagine being a bilingual and also being a, just learning how to write, oh my gosh, I would write out my name, and I hated it because the teacher would always get a minus because I'd be missing a letter here or a letter there. Because as a child, I couldn't write the whole Nipapan Sanavongse ever. I don't know. It's probably took me till like 2nd or 3rd grade to be able to write my full name, but it was hard. I always got a minus, like a check minus. And then, you know, I share a little bit about all of the stories and all the memories that I had as a child and just growing up in America. And the crazy thing is, you know, we found out about 11 years ago, and I never thought to write a book. And it wasn't until maybe about 3 years ago or somewhere around there, I ran into a gentleman that just also wrote a book, and him and his wife, you know, I met them, and I told him my story, and he told me about his book, and he was like, you definitely need to write your book. And then every time I share my story, when I used to work down at any of my jobs, whenever I used to work anywhere, I would share my story, and I would have like grown men and women literally crying in my chair because of like how amazing, like how my story touched them. And so that's what that gave me the decision to write. I wrote this book maybe about 3 years ago. However, I just sat on it. You know, life got in the way. I was traveling like crazy for my job. Plus, my mom was sick, and so it was a lot of things that got in the way. And so I think this pandemic has truly helped me to be able to launch my ideas and launch my book finally. And I somehow met a lady that owns a publishing company, an amazing lady. Her name is Dolly, and she owns Rose Gold Publishing. And we met online, and she told me like, oh yes, I'm a publisher and whatnot. And so I scheduled a call with her, and she's like, oh my goodness, I would love to help you get your book out there. Like, you really need to get it out there. And the crazy thing is, when I think about it, it wasn't meant to be out 3 years ago or 10 years ago. I feel like my story right now is really relevant to what's going on right now with the Asian hate and with all of these things going on in the Asian community. I want to be able to share our story and our journey, but also address some of the racism issues that I've experienced as a refugee growing up in America, and try to help figure out ways where we can move forward together in that. But it's so much good stuff. You guys be prepared to get your tissues out. I won't spoil it all right now, but I won't tell you too much. But there's a lot of lot of good stuff in there. Just, yeah, you'll be shocked. I mean, I share a lot of stuff, and you'll be like, what? Yeah, so you definitely have to look out for it. It will be on Amazon. We're shooting for May 1st. That is the target date. It could be, sometime in the middle of May, something like that. But it will be on Amazon and other media outlets as well.
I'm buying it. So get out there, buy the book. Buy the book, not only because it's a very good read, but buy the book because you see that, number one, she poured her heart and soul into the book. And number two, this could be beneficial to a majority of the people. To kind of tell your story. A friend of mine, Omari, a couple of days ago, kind of touched on his struggles during the pandemic. He had lost his sister, lost partial sight, went through a divorce. Just a ton of things that would crush a human being. But through this, his message was, don't blame it on that. Get up, get your hustle on. It's not the end of the world. Everybody goes through their own trials and tribulations, and it should make you stronger. And just from thinking from that aspect, this book should motivate you and empower you to step out of your boundaries and do more, and things that you have always wanted to do, or things on your list of your bucket list. You would want to accomplish more because you see another person and you kind of see their strife and struggles and how they overcame them. So always anything that is uplifting in nature, especially coming from a minority to minorities, should do nothing but empower you to strive to do better.
Definitely.
On top of that, we just wanted to touch on, we did want to get out the book launch, a few other things that we have in the works. Of course, we'll go back to our same schedule of guests next week, but we wanted to touch on the podcast network that we will be.
Drum roll.
We're gonna get a mixer board. We need.
I
see like the Joe Budden podcast and stuff. They be having sound effects and whatnot.
Yes.
I gotta invest in a board. But this podcast will be for others. I mean, we've gotten a ton of people to come and say, "Man, I wish I could do a podcast like yours. You guys look so professional and all of the other things that you put into the podcast to make it look so good. How can I do that?
Yes.
So when there is a need, then a solution will be found. So we put together a podcast network that will have a variety of different subjects. The young lady from Egypt who was our tour guide, she will be giving you information about abroad, about Egypt, about the history of Egypt. We have psychologists and psychiatrists who not only share their knowledge, but they'll be taping some sessions with some of their clients, so you can see how that works. And if it is something that you possibly could be dealing with as well, then this can in turn help you. Like I said, we'll be doing game show type of scenarios as well. So it'll be a wealth of information all packaged into one network.
You keep talking about the game show.
Yeah, man. We can't.
I think we'll be able to really do a nice one with everyone there once quarantine. I know we could do it here like live and things.
Well, I would
love to, when we open up, to actually have something like that in our studio.
Yeah, I mean, we have
our office.
We have studio and office space and whatnot. So yes, we can have it in person, but because COVID is still going around, and it's travel and visitation and just going out having a good time is limited in nature.
Yeah.
So we will have people on, and we'll kind of do that format initially, and then transition to in person. But battle of the sexes and men versus
men versus women.
Yeah. Men versus women. Family Feud style and things of that nature. To show you guys our superiority. Don't. I'm just.
I talk about that. No, I'm just kidding.
This will be good. I'm trying to get a few of my clients through my marketing agency to come and share their expertise, and I have people that are real estate professionals and security details and tactical training, and we have just a ton of different diverse clients that we will give them some time to also
have their own channel.
Yeah, kind of shine a little
podcast.
bit, tell your story, get your message out there. And hey, it's absolutely free to you guys, so we want you guys to subscribe, sign up, check out the different channels, and support us. And if you would like to start a podcast, or
you have an idea, pitch it to us.
No doubt.
You could be on the show and have your own podcast on our network.
Yeah, I've been trying to. I got a ton of friends from college and throughout my life, but I have a few of my fellows that I interact with on a daily or weekly basis, and we've been thinking of ways to start another business and kind of a think tank style discussion that we have. So that's another one that we were thinking of. Get out there, start getting some ideas. Interact with the audience about what's out there that's missing, and let's all get together, put together a good business proposal and get some other minority-owned businesses out there as well. So there's a ton of different subjects and topics that we're going to try to cover.
And it doesn't necessarily, on our channel, doesn't necessarily like minorities. It's open for everyone.
That's true.
So we want to make this like a melting pot. We want to make this inclusive for everyone that wants to voice their opinion or have a business idea or anything that's going to help our listeners. We want to put you on there. So reach out to us if you have a podcast idea, or if you want to be on our podcast. I had some names picked out. Do you want to tell them the name? Not yet.
We got a couple of them.
We're still trying to figure out which one we're going to go with.
We have it. The branding has been kind of integrated into the new website that we're developing, but we'll keep it a secret at this time, and just when we're set and we're ready to go.
Okay, then you'll know. But definitely spread the word that we are looking for anyone that has a business, that has an idea, that want their own show. We will help them launch their show. So reach out to us and let us know if you know anyone, or you yourself, want to do it. And
without a doubt. And always remember that these podcasts and these different media outlets
Hey,
Um,
hey,
oh,
sis.
hey, Moni. First of all, hey, sweetie. Second of all, hey, you can do. I've already told her you can do a cooking channel and blow it up because I am the
Yes.
one that cooks around here, especially on what?
I don't cook.
Okay.
She knows.
On
She knows I do not
holidays,
cook.
I'm the one that cook. Everybody's like, "Oh man, can you make your macaroni and cheese? And can you make this and make that?" So yes, the demand is out there to learn that southern and good cooking. Yes, Modi, contact us.
But she might not want to do cooking on the show.
Well, I mean, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do,
yes.
you are able to do. You know what I'm saying? Whatever topic. And the reason why I say cooking is because we travel half hour, 40 minutes to get her food because her food is so good. And
it's so delicious. If you guys are in the Elgin area, we were so excited when she first came here.
Yep. We ate half of the food before we got home the first time. You were
licking your fingers.
I had fish and chicken, and I was going through it. So yes.
Because we used to get so frustrated because we would look for a soul food restaurant around here, and I don't cook, so and so we would go to one in Streamwood or something, and it's just not the same.
Right.
So when we finally, oh babe, it's a soul food restaurant that just opened up. I saw the lines out there. They had a grand opening. I'm like, we're gonna order something, and so we ended up ordering, and he has been like hooked since.
No doubt. Anytime we go to the office or she's running errands, I'm like, hey, if you buy Moni's, go ahead and stop and grab some stuff. But but that's the interaction that we're trying to draw with our audience. But I was saying that all of these different media and marketing ploys and the podcasts are all brought to you by our businesses, which is iLocal Online Marketing.
Thank you, sis. We love you too.
Which you see at the bottom of your screen. So understand that we're not going to take too much of you guys' time, but we wanted to get out the book launch. We wanted to get out what we're doing, why our time is so scrambled right now is because we're trying to get all of these different avenues open to the public as quickly as possible. We definitely want the podcast and the podcast network to go strong. We want the book launch to take off. And
we got a lot of things going on right now, including we're going to be grandparents number 2. We are having a boy. Is that why you're wearing blue?
I'm old. I'm wearing blue because this is what I wore to work. And when I got home, you was like, hey, the podcast, let's go.
We got to go. We're always on the move, guys. We're always on the move. I don't think I get any sleep.
I get home
I slept for 3 hours last night.
I ain't even talking about her sleep pattern. She worked all night and then wake me up at 4 in the morning and talking about give me a kiss. I got to get up in another
And you're like, what time is it?
So I ain't going to even go down that path. But I'm going to write a book. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a book.
Yeah, you said you wanted to.
And it's going to be called
You Need To.
I'm Married to Poem. And believe me, that is going to be a detailed, interactive, tearful book, okay? Believe me. If hers is $40 in a dream, mine is going to be $5 and some Kool-Aid because let me tell you, when we first met, we were both going to school, so we was both as a joke as it is. So we have, and
we were. Oh
not
my
to say
God.
anyway, we got money.
We were so broke.
But we are better off now than we were. So therefore, that was a journey in itself.
We were living in a 2-bedroom duplex, right, with our kids. We had Asia and Tia at that time, and it was a struggle.
Man, I have no idea. I was still young. I was a knucklehead.
We were all in our 20s, 30. You were 30 though. I was in my 20s.
Well, first of all, when you say you was in your 20s, I'm only like 3.5 years older than you.
4 years.
So
4 years.
You was about 30, and I know. If your birthday is in May and mine is in November, that's not a full year.
When we met, I was probably late 20s.
Right, but when we moved in together and all that stuff, you was
28.
Yeah,
27.
Nah,
28. I was.
I was like 32. So
yeah, you were like 32.
So about 20.
Probably right around there.
I feel that.
And we were kind of we've come a long way, guys.
We've come a long way. I tell you.
From a blended family.
Listen.
The blended family thing.
Our household was all women initially.
initially.
was born.
Now we're going to
So,
be even.
yes, we will have four males in the
Yep.
house and 4 females in the house.
With the
So
baby.
it will be a little bit more even. But I went through life with my 3 girls, which is my wife and my 2 daughters.
For a while.
And man, let me just tell you, that book, it will have men out there crying, praising me for being the man that I am. So
Yes.
no, but all jokes aside, guys, you know, got a lot of things in the works. You guys, you know, be on the lookout for it. Of course, we will promote it as it comes out and kind of give you more details as they come out. But we just wanted to take this time to kind of let you guys know, you know, why we're running around crazy. Clients like, hey, did you do this? Did you do that?
I know.
Man, we got a ton of things in the works. So,
we do, definitely. And, you know, and one of the things that when we talked about, well, you know, tonight's show, we thought maybe we would just pause having a guest tonight so we can come to you guys and let you know what's in the works, what announcement we have coming up. So we wanted to do that. And also we realized that since we started the podcast, I don't think we ever really truly talked about what Marcelo and I do outside of this podcast. This podcast is basically just something that we do as a hobby on the side. When things were going crazy with the Asian and with the Black community, we're like, let's get some, you know, some people on here so we could change the narrative and we could bring to light positive things in the Black and Asian communities. That's why we called it Blasian Soul Podcast. And so we wanted to also share with you a little bit about iLocal and a little bit about Beautiful Potential and what we do. So do you want to go ahead and start with iLocal?
iLocal is pretty cut and dry. It is a grassroots marketing agency. So our services range from our digital to traditional marketing, which is, you know, print, business cards, corporate branding, things of that nature. The digital aspects would be websites, SEO, social media management. The list goes on. There is no, in my experience, I think I've been doing marketing now for 15 plus years. So in my travels, you know, I've done it all and seen it all as far as marketing is concerned. I've put together virtual showrooms and websites and landing pages and you name it, and I've had some type of contact with it. I've traveled internationally to give seminars on marketing and train marketing staffs in India. So
he eats and breathes marketing, and that's where I get my talent from when it comes to marketing and stuff. If I get stuck on anything, I turn around and like, babe, how do you do this?
But you know what? It's not the education or experience for marketing at times. Pawn has an eye for creative, so she can visualize it in her head. I guess the bridge is getting her ideas to fruition.
Yes,
so she has a great eye for design and for branding. So you know, while she might have started out in business and motivational speaking and things of that nature, because it's being together and she sees me up 2-3 in the morning trying to get some stuff done for marketing.
Like, let me help you.
Yeah, she's like, oh yeah, I see what you're trying to do. Maybe if you did this, and then that led into, okay, you know what? Why don't you help me out with these few things, or do a video for me, or do, and then it snowballed into, you know what, the talents that or the skill set that I've developed working with iLocal, because she is a co-owner of iLocal, it's my wife. Let me branch that out into industries that I know, which is like cosmetology, motivational speaking, and things of that nature. So, you know, Beautiful Potential in itself is a spinoff of marketing, but it's more industry focused.
Yes. Yep.
So, you know.
So Beautiful Potential Consulting is a just every single thing that I love. So I just basically created my own company that is based on everything that I love, the beauty industry, the confidence that it gives women. Like I've been in the beauty industry for over 20 years. I'm still a licensed cosmetologist, and now my daughter Asia is a cosmetologist, and so she pretty much her and Tia, they are a tag team. So we're a mother-daughter team. And so like my husband said, you know, one of the things that I love to do is create and design. And so that's why we focus on beauty, branding, and business consulting. And so I love to coach and develop as well. And you know, my background is in beauty and education and training. And I'm also a certified, independent certified coach with the John Maxwell Group. And so coach, trainer, and speaker through the John Maxwell Group. And so I took every single experience, everything that I know, and created my company, Beautiful Potential. And so we have a full-blown beauty / media studio / training center / all of that in one. And so we were supposed to open last year. I took 6 months to like build it from scratch and coming every day, putting pieces together. I was excited for the grand opening. We had it all planned with the Chamber of Commerce. We were all gonna, you know, then the world turned and then the pandemic hit and we had to cancel because we didn't know what was going on. So we ended up having to cancel our grand opening. And, you know, for the time being, we were, you know, home for 3 months. For the time being, what I did during that downtime was, how can we innovate this? Like, since we can't do that, since we can't have people into our centers and doing makeovers and things like that yet, I started to think ahead. And so I started to think about how can I bring this company and bring it online. And that's when I created the online school, which we already have some programs available, which I've already sold some, which is awesome. So I have an online school that is also focused on beauty, branding, and business. You guys, everybody should, and I'm not just saying this because it's my program. I'm saying this because it will truly, truly, truly help you. If you have the time to learn, definitely get the branding course. It's so easy. It's so easy to follow. But everything, all of my business courses focus on developing your business skills. And even if you are not proficient in like Word document, I have a program for that. So basically what I did was I took everything that someone who might be a beginner, now that the pandemic hit, oh gosh, what do? How can I help them be able to be self-sufficient, grow their business or get into business or be able to take it to the next level with their technical skills in a way that people as a beginner can learn, easily follow along without getting intimidated or frustrated. So I have easy to follow courses that you could follow for as little as $27. You could fast forward, rewind, you could watch it over again. You could, you know, do it on your own pace. And we have build your brand, like a branding package, which is only $47. And I think you get, let's see, 20, 40, 60, like about 80 lessons. And they're really small, broken down, but the value that you get for just $47, like, you know, you blow that off, you know, on a week of Starbucks or something.
No, you
but we have social media, you know, just go check it out and beautifulpotential.com. You could go check out the classes there. They're really amazing classes that you need, like right now, video courses, things like that, that are so relevant to what's going on right now.
And that brings me, I probably didn't want to bring this out just yet, but okay, so iLocal has been around
a long time,
12, 13 years.
Yes.
So I have, you know, various services that I offer to businesses. But I have some businesses that are small fledgling businesses that are, you know, just getting started. Marcelo, I don't have 500, you know, for a video and social media. And, you know, I don't have $1,000 for a full all-encompassing campaign. So
we work with every budget.
Yeah, but I took that and I thought, okay, if I don't have the time to teach you, okay, And because I have a ton of clients. But what I can do is put together a platform, for lack of a better term, I'll say it's an app, but it is a do-it-yourself app for businesses that are just starting, or businesses that there's some business owners that want to do some things themselves because no one knows your business like you. So things like getting your business on Google My Business, or linking all of your social media accounts together so you can post uniformly, or your website, how well is it doing, your SEO rank, what's your page rank on Google. All of these things are base marketing tasks that you have to complete if you want to be successful online, number one, and if you want to grow your digital footprint. So, and I don't know, I would say May would be the launch date for this, but we have a do-it-yourself alternative to my
SEO,
service.
and you guys know how much SEO can be. It can be crazy.
This thing monitors your website, your social media platforms, your ranking with Google and Yahoo, and it gives you tasks to complete each week, and very simple tasks. If you want to put your your business on Google My Business, instead of having to find Google My Business and go through the steps to get there, one click takes you right there to the sign up form. Fill that out, you're done. So it gives you tasks each week. It grades you on the tasks that you've done. It gives you grades on your website, your SEO, your social media, so that not only are you learning how to market your business, but you're not learning through an abstract way of just when you're in class and it's a fictitious business. You're actually doing these tasks for your business while you're learning. And that's going to come out soon. A lot of people are struggling right now with their business because of the pandemic. So, you might not have $500-700 for a comprehensive package, but you got $65 to do it yourself. Very easy, one touch, one click system. We have the website, but it's also mobile ready as well. So while you're out and about, you can click on it on your phone and go through this process to really grow your business. So, and that, believe me,
you cannot beat that. We pulled it up last night, and it walks you right through it, so you can't even you can't go wrong.
It's foolproof. I don't want to use that term saying someone's a fool, but it's foolproof. And there's still people that says, well, you know what, I don't have time for that. I'm running my business. That's what iLocal and Beautiful Potential is there to do the heavy lifting if needed. But if you just want to get started, kind of see the benefits of online marketing and how that can kind of grow your business, this is an easy way to do it, and to get you more informed as far as being a business owner and marketing and branding and what that entails.
Definitely. And speaking of my sister Moni, I just want to give a shout out to her, you guys, because she has been bringing me so many clients, and I just love her. She's been giving us so many clients. She's been keeping me busy. And also, if you guys are looking to start your own business as well, Moni has also wrapped up a package with all of her expertise, and she is doing a course. You can go to her website and check it out. Maybe you want to open up a restaurant, or maybe you want to open up whatever business it is that you want to open up. She is going to give you that blueprint. So I think she's going to have virtually and on-site learning for you. If you are in the Elgin area, you can come on site. If you are not in the Elgin area, you could take the virtual course that is coming soon. I think it's this month sometime. And you can go to her website to find out more about that.
No doubt. That's our girl. All right, guys, we're not going to keep you too much longer. We just wanted to get out kind of a snapshot of what will be coming in the future from Blasian Soul and from our media group as a whole. So be on the lookout for all of these different things that we've just said to you guys. And if you guys want more information, please contact us. We'll be happy to give you more insight on not only what's going on, but how to take advantage of it.
Definitely.
All right, man. Y'all be cool. 14 years. coming up next week.
14. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And once again, my book will be out soon. Gentlemen, if you guys want to, kind of get some insight into,
Oh my goodness.
man and woman struggle. By all means, I help you guys do that as well. But thank you guys for checking us out. Be here next Wednesday.
Definitely.
We'll be back to our same schedule as far as guest speakers are concerned. And everybody be safe out there. Watch your six.
Spread the word about the channel. Let us know if you want to be on. All right. See you next week. Same time, same place. Lock on.
Watch your six.
Lock on.